Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be replacing the valve cover on this 2011 Nissan Sentra. Remember, if you're new here, hit that like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. First thing you want to do is remove this cover here. It's going to have one, two 10mm bolts. I'll go through here. You're going to get that out of the way. Then what we want to do is remove our dipstick. Set it up out of the way, that way we don't break the tube when removing the intake plenum. We're going to take our hose here off. We're going to pull this clip and this hose off and disconnect the breather tube from the throttle body to give us access to get the intake itself off. Alright, so once we pop this hose off over here, we have our screw clamp loose on the breather tube. We went ahead and took our 10mm bolts out of the intake. We have 1, 2, 3, number 4 right up in there. It's already loose, as you can see. So you'll have one here, 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 one up in here, and then one on this corner right here. I allow the intake to be loose. The next thing we're going to do is remove this piece out of the way so we can get to the coolant hose going to the throttle body. So this tube assembly here is out of the way. You'll have a clamp here, clamp there, just the flathead will do it. That allows us to gain access to this coolant hose here and this one right here, and then our pigtail for the throttle body itself. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect those real quick. As you see, we got those hoses disconnected. We can lift our intake up and out. Looks like we have a hose on this end here. Now we can safely remove the intake. So there's a hose here. Here you'll have your breather inlet. You'll take off pigtail here, and then the hose there. And hopefully I can find that 10mm bolt that just fell. So with all 5 of our bolts found, we're ready to go on to the next step. That's going to be removing each one of our coil packs. Pushing these hoses over here out of the way. And these pigtails will only go in one order, so you don't have to worry about mixing them up. We'll have this little clip here, or retainer zip tie. We'll have to pull it up off the valve cover so we can gain access. So let's do that real quick. Now we have that harness out of the way, we're going to go ahead and remove our coil packs. Neighbor's dog's going at it this morning. That's good. Pull these bolts. Make sure to put your bolts in a tray or a cup so you don't lose them. And these sometimes don't come out like they should. So, usually twisting them back and forth. We'll pop them out, but that's not going to be the case on this one or that one. That's good. Sweet, so we get to play fish the boots out of the motor. So if this does happen to you, just make sure these little springs do not fall into the motor. We're going to go ahead and remove this valve cover, make it a little easier to pull anything else. So the valve cover itself is going to have 8mm bolts. We'll take our other Milwaukee. Definitely don't want to lose these bolts here. We're going to do the same. Pull them out, set them in the tray. Looks like we got one here in the middle. And that should allow our valve cover to come up. So what we're going to do is, let's see, take a fly screwdriver and get right up under the edge there. Pop it right up. Got one clip over here. We need off the corner. So see this clip right here? We're going to squeeze those two back pieces together and pop that clip right out. Alright, so just get you a set of needle nose pliers. All you're going to do is just, let's see if I can see that. You're just going to squeeze those two in and then pull the clip right out. Go ahead and remove this valve cover. And yeah, it's pretty rough looking. So let's go ahead and get this valve cover replaced real quick. As we see here, this is the old one. I mean, it's just crumbling. Hence the reason why it's getting replaced. All of that's just breaking apart. Yeah, good times. Alright, next is you want to make sure that your surface is cleaned off really good. So we see here, big difference than before. Make sure no trash gets inside this motor when you have that cover off. But we took a nice rag and just cleaned the outside real good. As long as it's smooth, there's no crazy stuff going on. Now we're going to take the new cover, and as we see, new gasket. We're going to set her in there like so. Set it down, make sure everything's looking good. We can start reassembling, putting all of our bolts in. Now when you're going to tighten this up, I don't recommend using a Milwaukee tool or a power tool. Get you a 1/4 inch drive ratchet and snug the bolts up that way. And we're going to show you the pattern that we're about to use. Now you can snug them down by hand with the ratchet. Then we'll start with the center, snug, snug, and then we're going to work our way from corner to corner. Making sure all the bolts are nice and snug. That's all it takes is snug. You don't have to go excessive with it. You will break the valve cover. You go too tight. Alright, now we're ready to go ahead and put our coil packs in. We're going to go ahead and do that. Now that we have all of our coil packs in and bolted down, everything's plugged up. Make sure that harness is popped in there. We're going to go ahead and put the intake back on. Go ahead and get all that bolted up. Now this customer had already put new intake gaskets on, so all we're going to do is just clean the surface, reuse the gaskets they had. Recommend if you're doing this for the first time, replace your intake gaskets as well. And that will be all. You just put it back on the way you took it off at this point. Remember to hit that like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.